Hello, just a quick video to introduce you to this piece of material. It is a European elm that I dug up out of the ground a few months ago. It's spring now, April, and the leaves are starting to bud. I give you a little close-up of this tree. So you see, this is a raft, a natural raft of elm. We have loads of trunks here, and really there are too much of them, but it doesn't matter at this point. We're just letting everything grow, and in the next spring we'll see what we have to do. So this was the introduction of the elm raft. Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. Today we're going to talk about this elm raft. I dug it out in winter last year, and it has been growing quite well since. The raft was basically in two parts, and I decided just to keep this one. So I cut already the trunk here, the trunk that is under the ground, and now I'm going to do a selection of the roots before putting the tree in a new pot for the winter. A smaller pot and with better soil. So the first thing I want to do is to get this out of the pot and put it in a bigger container so I can see what's going on. First of all, I'm going to clean up the root ball. This is something nice too. This is the other half of the raft, but I cut back this one to maybe make some small raft out of it. And the cuttings I put back in the ground, but they did not root, I think. It was just an experiment. So let's clean this up and see what we have. The pot it was growing in was good for the survival of the tree, but not for the root spread. So that's why I need to put this in a better training pot. I have to spread the roots out now. Why am I doing this in autumn? Well, because I'm going to need to do a selection of the trunks and maybe some wiring, because this could become quite a small bonsai. So I just opened up the root ball, and this is the trunk. So I'm gonna cut that and try to separate the two parts. Without trying to damage roots as much as possible. Just okay. So this one's loose. And I'm going to do the same over here, which is much easier. Here is the trunk. And get this part off. So most of the soil is gone now. I still can't see the trunk that's laying, so I will have to wash it off now, because if I continue with this way, I'm going to damage too much roots. so just using water. So these are the roots now. Still a lot of roots on the surface. I cut off this part to make a small group with it, which could be very nice because I have one main trunk and well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, which could be very nice clump. That's another project, and we are going to go on with this one, which has much more trunks than I will ever need. And what I'm going to do now is cut away roots until I find this trunk. Now I have to be careful because you see this clump is already beginning to form. This is already a wooden part, so maybe I will not find this piece back, but I will find a fused trunk base. So let's get some scissors. So we need to have a visual on the woody parts, and everything that's on top of it we just cut away. Don't use your best scissors to do that because there's little stones and sand in this soil. So now I am at a point where the roots are clean and where I can see what's going on. Well, I will never reach this this trunk again, so this is going to be a clump style tree, and that's all. I will have to get rid of this, which is not a big problem. Just gonna cut it first with big pliers. Okay, and then clean up the stump. It's not that the stump has to go, but I'm going to need more room for these roots to grow over it. I noticed that, yeah, there's a stump on this side too. I noticed that there were 10 or 11 trunks here, and well, that's not exactly something you want. It's better to have an uneven Japanese people would say you cannot have 9 because it is a number that doesn't bring joy or something. I don't care because I'm not Japanese, but if they do, they can do it. I think about 7 trees because it's going to be quite messy here. So this one I want to keep, it's the biggest one, and this one is nice too. And this one is nice because it will give me some side to the overall. So I don't like this root, it's a little too high. So it's not too high anymore. I don't like this trunk because it's behind this one, it's crossing, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is a bit of a question here. Is this 1 trunk or is this 2? But anyway, it's growing in the composition, so I don't like it at all. So it's gone. It has a root, can be planted maybe. Get rid of this stump, and now I'm going to see if there's any roots growing to the inside, which I can get rid of. And every time you clean up some roots, you should give the tree a wash. Because we really want all the roots to flare out. So no roots on the inside of the clump. These are the roots we want to get rid of. Now this looks a bit heavy, but this is an elm, you know. An elm is quite a forgiving tree. Most of the people started their bonsai career with Chinese elms because you can get them for a little money, but yeah, well, they don't do well all the time in our European climates, especially in Belgium. It can be very cold in winter, and I don't think it is good to get the trees inside, because they will lack light and moisture, and elms are going to make very leggy branches and huge leaves. So that looks alright. Now let's get rid of this stump. This will heal over and will make a nice feature for the clump. So this is what we are left with, and it has to be spread out. That's why this tree should had to come out of the ground, because I need to put it in a pot to be able to work on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trees, which means that this one is still a little too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it's better to count twice because you can't glue them back. Okay, one last quick wash, and then we'll be ready for the potting of this tree. So I found this pot, and I think it's going to be suitable for this tree. So I added ground layer, and this is a regular soil mix. Because it's autumn, I'm going to try to save as much as the roots as I can. But maybe we will have to cut some off. Okay. So this is supposed to be the front. Going to have to do something to get this tree here in position, but I think I have a drainage hole just under there, so maybe I'm going to take a piece of wire, because this tree is going to give some width to the overall design. So this is what I'm going to do first. Try to include a piece of wire, and then carefully spread out the roots so they will stay in a good position during the winter. Always work on the roots. Roots are the most important thing to give a tree maturity. You can always cut a branch, wire it, graft branch, but roots is extremely difficult to fix it. But first the wire. So nothing fancy. Sticking the wire through it, anchor it a little, and then get the tree on a mountain. Like so, spreading the roots and make them twist around the pot. So the next time the tree will be repotted, we will have a twisted root base. It's gonna be tragic, but then you can cut all these roots away. But at this point we need the stored energy in the roots for the tree to wake up during next spring. So this is not going to be really a raft style, because all the trees are emerging from one point except for this one, which will make a nice feature. I'm going to secure this tree now by turning the wire like so, and now I'm going to put some extra soil in the tree, in the pot. So this is not going to be a raft style, like I said. It's going to be a clump, which is a very attractive bonsai form. Okay, I'll be back when this is done. So this is almost done. I had to fix the tree with a wire in the pot. Something I don't do a lot, but in this particular case, this tree is just way too high to to get a balance. So it's now potted up. It needs watering, of course. What we are going to do in the coming video is when all the leaves has come off, I'm going to wire this tree and think about some branch selection and open the structure up, because this is really too straight, it's not natural, because the trees in nature would reach out for sunlight, so this one should go to the exterior, and I will have probably to make some construction to achieve this, but it's a good start. I think well, I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe consider working with an elm, a European elm, an American elm instead of a Chinese one, because they really do much better in winter. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you next time.